Hey, I've got number 5 in the GymBed Explorations Month. This is a real exercise that we're going to do on our back. We still have a couple more exercises, at least, or drills that we're going to do while remaining on our back, our first position upon waking. And the exercises today are going to be a progression. So just follow along the progression, figure out to where you hit a wall, and that's where you'll know that is your current level, and you would stop there, because the key to all of this is that posterior pelvic tilt that we used in the prior post with the overhead stretch with the posterior tilt. So the focus on the posterior tilt would be the same even if we were doing it on the floor. So all of these exercises are under the category of bridge, and the posterior tilt, remember, was, and I would do it without the pillow, was where we're doing a couple of things. We're getting our abs sucked down towards the floor, which is going to take away that arch or gapping in the lower back, okay? And it's easier to do this on the bed because of the pressure and the give. And when you do that, you would also end up creating a posterior tilt to your pelvis. That's a scooping up of the pelvis. And this is the key to remain in this position, the abs engaged the entire time from start to finish of any rep that we're doing. So if this is something new to you, then you could just stay here, relax, and get into posterior tilt. Hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and just keep practicing that. Really focusing on what it feels like to have your ab engaged, okay? Now, if that is okay for you, then we would hold on to that position and do marches. So we're going to bring one foot up at a time, the entire time, never letting go of this ab engagement and that tilt. Now, if this is also good for you, then the next level of progression here would be to actually get into the bridge. So with the bridge, we're going to again start in the posterior tilt and hold it the whole time. As you squeeze your glutes, press through the heels and raise the pelvis up with two goals in mind. We're trying to get the pelvis up to a point where we have a straight body line, basically from shoulder to knees, this full hip extension if you can. So the harder you squeeze your glutes, the more you're going to get into that full hip extension. You're also thinking of your knees driving forward, okay? You cannot be moving the knees forward, but that's what you're going to think of, that you're driving your knees forward. Okay, now as you come up, I don't want you to think about just shooting straight up. I want you to think about as if you're lifting off your spine one vertebrae at a time. So you're starting off with that posterior tilt, and then you're going to go bottom up, so lower spine up, lifting up one vertebrae at a time, squeeze at the top, and then driving through the heel. And then when you're coming down, you're going to think about your upper spine and lowering down one vertebrae at a time until you get into that beginning position and repeat. Now, if this is okay for you, then we'll go on to the next level, which is going to be more ab focus. We're simply going to extend one leg. So extend one leg to the bed, the other foot is flat, and again, engaging that posterior tilt, we're just going to lift the leg. So have that leg extended and just lift it straight up, and this is going to shift the focus from the glutes to your lower abs, okay? So of course you would repeat on the other side, and we're trying to just keep everything in line here, all right? Now, again, keeping that ab pressed, that lower back pressed to the floor the entire time, or to the bed. Now, if you're able to do this, without a problem. Then we'll get into the hardest part, which will be going back to the bridge, but we're doing the one leg bridge once again. So 1 foot flat on the bed, the other leg extends, and then we're going to do the bridge. All the other cues for the bridge remain the same. So now we're loading the one glute a lot harder, and this is also going to expose any imbalances you have in the strength or mobility through the glutes and the hips. And what we're trying to do, of course, and just finish up one rep if you can, or one side with all reps, right? Say like 8 to 12 before you switch. But if you're doing the one leg exercises, it's a great time to work on the imbalances, so do more on the weaker side. And what was I going to say? So this is the highest level progression that we're going to hit in this post. You still want to keep all the other cues for the bridge, the hip bridge, the same on this one. And oh, I know what I was going to say. What you don't want is that as you're coming up on this one leg especially, you don't want to be tilting or rotating off to either direction, okay? So just keep that motion in line. Okay, so that was your bridge variations / progressions. Figure out where you are and stop as soon as you're no longer able to keep those lower abs pressed. The reason why I say that is because the same reason why I say, for the most part, stay away from ab specific exercises, because many times people don't engage the abs with that posterior tilt idea, and without that, as they're doing an ab exercise, they're contracting the ab muscles in a state where it is not flattened. So you're basically creating a protruding muscular ab, okay? And that's probably not what you want. If it is, go for it. But for the most part, we want to have a flattened ab before we start building on top of it, okay? So flat abs, even concave abs to start with as far as the starting position is what we're going for, and that's the point.